Good morning. It's time for the weekend review. It's Jean Brittingham with Captain Stitches. Welcome, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining me this morning in my stitching cottage. So come on in with me and let's see what I have accomplished throughout this past week. I always say to myself, it doesn't seem like I really got much done. But when I start gathering it all together, I realize, yeah, I accomplished a little more than I thought. So let's start out with what I wasn't able to work a lot on last week, but did get to work on Long Time Gone, for those of you that have been following along on the progress on that. And I did get this section of the little 60-degree triangles made into diamonds on this one. They're only 2-inch finished. So that is completed for that section of the quilt. Included in that was also just this one little strip of them that will also be going into the quilt. So I did get those finished on Long Time Gone. Also, for the next section of the quilt, which is the last section of blocks, not the last part of putting the quilt together, but the last section of blocks, we need to make 16 of these paper-pieced pineapple blocks, which are 5-inch finished, and there are 37 1-inch finished at 1/2-inch pieces in each one. So that's going to take a little, which is on the foundation, paper pieced. So that is going to take just a little bit of time, but I did get one of those also completed yesterday. So I am excited to be able to get that done and on to the assembling of the quilt top. Can't wait to see how it's going to look completed. So the next thing that I worked on this week also, maybe not in order, but one of the things that I worked on is my got one of my older slow stitching projects out, which you may have seen this earlier, but it is a larger one. I did finish doing all the blanket stitching on the petals that go around here, and on my antique doily here I was able to get it stitched down and also the bow stitched down on it. So back to work on that, and we'll try and raise it up so you can see some of the other things that are on there. So now I am going to start doing some shadow stitching around the flower, and then as I go along decide what embroidery stitches and embellishing that I want to add in the background of that. In addition to that, I also was able to work on some of my big stitch quilting on this project, which is actually going to be the base of a project tote that I am making that will have some embroidery work, pockets and stuff like that on it, that I will be using for a project tote out in my stitching cottage. So also got some more of the big stitch hand quilting done on that. And let me see, what else was I able to get done in the cottage? I was able to, I have a good friend that needed some help in getting all of her background blocks for this, and that's not my pattern, so I'm just holding it up briefly, but it is an embroidery quilt called Feathered Nests, and it had 14 backgrounds needed to be cut for all the embroidery work, which all of those white that you see on there are embroidery work that has to do with birdhouses and outdoor scenery and things that have to do with birds and their nests. And I got all of the backgrounds cut and labeled for her so she can trace those out and get ready to do her embroidery work on there. I will also be doing that pattern. Not sure exactly when I'm going to get started on that though, because as you know, as I say, I have 15,000,001 projects to go and in the works. So just saying, don't know when I may get to that, but I will. And also, on my Friday new live format, those of you that have caught those, you know that we are doing an embroidery stitch of the week, which on the grid that we have, I guess I'll hold that open again. The grid that we have ready for that, our last week's stitch was the back stitch that we did all around that. This week was the first section, and that was a stem stitch, and I got the stem stitch work done in that. Going to do a little more decorative stitching down in this bottom portion of it, but got the stem stitch work done on that. And then also in that same time frame during the live, we're doing a crochet stitch of the week. And the crochet stitch of the week for this week, if we can get that without everything falling with it, is we did the foundation single crochet for the first, and now the stitch was a half double crochet. So we are doing 3 rows of the half double crochet, and I have got 1 and a partial row completed on that. Well, I believe that's how many. Yep. So have another row to complete after that. So that was also completed this week. Stick that back in my bucket here with all my yarn. As for that, so it doesn't get lost. The other thing that we are also doing in that time frame, but only once a month, is the block of the month that I did redesigned. It's an earlier design that I did in EQ5, however didn't have all the instructions and pages and everything together on that from when I had done that, so did a redesign of it in EQ8 for the block of the month that we are going to be doing in that time frame, which I'm not going to show the whole quilt because I've shown that before, but it is this block that we worked on this week and explained what the quilt is, the fabric requirements, and everything like that. I am doing mine in Christmas fabrics this time, so this is the block that I did during that live and showed a technique for doing the half square triangles using the half square triangle ruler instead of having to use that 7/8 measurement and drawing the diagonal line that some of us do not like. But this is an actual photo of the the quilt block of the month in its entirety. And then this is the block for this month. And of course the fabric requirements and everything were included in that, and that quilt is going to finish out at 48 by 60 inches if you do it and put it together the way that I designed it. You can do whatever you want with the blocks. It doesn't have to be put together that way. That's just a suggestion. However, to receive the information and the files and all of that, the instructions for that block of the month, you will have to be a member of my Facebook group, as that is a part of that also, and that is where I always have all the files for anything that I do that I offer as a stitch along, sew along, any free pattern things that I do are always found in the files in that Facebook group, which for those that you are not aware, that Facebook group is Friends of Captain Stitches Quilting Stitching Bee, and the link for that can always be found in the description box below this video. So just click on that link if you would like to be included in all of that and answer a couple questions, and you will be able to be in the group and enjoy everything. So that, I believe, it's just about everything that I've done this week. I cannot hold up the other section that I did because it's too large and it's still laying on my large light box over on the other side of the table. But it is tracing the embroidery sections for the over the river and through the woods that I am just doing as a personal quilt myself. There are a couple people that watch the lives and that are going to be following along as we do that. So that will be when I work on that on lives. It will be during my shorter version Monday morning relaxed casual stitch and chat. But I am in the process of tracing the panels for the embroidery work on that and getting ready to go. So I believe that covers just about everything that was accomplished in the Stitching Cottage this week. I would really love to know what you have completed on your projects this week, so please leave a comment in the comment sections below this video and let me know, what have you been working on this week? What did you accomplish? What are your goals for next week? And would love to see that. And of course, if you aren't subscribed and you like what the content and everything that I do, please be sure and hit that subscribe button if you'd like to be notified of when I do go live and when I upload new content. Click that bell as well and you will receive notifications of that. So thank you everyone for joining me this beautiful Sunday in the Stitching Cottage to see what has been accomplished the past week. Hope to have lots more for you next week. So check back then. Don't forget to follow me on Monday and Friday for my lives. Tuesday is Tip Demo Tuesday, so also look for that. Some great things always included in that. And then again next week around this time for my week in review. Bye-bye, everyone. Have an awesome week. And remember, in the meantime, I can keep you in stitches. Bye-bye.